Hello and welcome to our first ever Busy Webinar. These are formerly Buzz Builders, and we're keeping the same format as regular, but wanted to keep up with you and keep up with the times. Since we're now doing our webinars in person as well, we figured maybe we should put it together and have a Busy Web in R. You can do a webinar with us, or you can invite yourself over in person and join us at our fantastic new facility in Champlin, Minnesota. So for the folks that are here, would love to connect up with you and have you join us and follow us. We'll go through some brief things just to get us started for today. We'll go through a little bit about BizzyWeb, who we are, what we do, and then we're going to talk about how to build a successful website. There's a lot of stuff that we go through every day and a lot of things that we talk about with our clients on what they need to know when they're building a website and what they need to consider. And so we thought it might be a good time to change or to just kind of suggest that to everybody that we know, so that you know what to look for and ask for as you're building your website and your connections. So when we go through building a successful site, we're going to talk about infrastructure, specifically hosting and what to keep in mind, design, calls to action and how that works, and then also social integration, so how to keep everything together and keep it all up. As we go through, we'll cover everything in kind, and we'll cover it all today with you. So come on down and we'll cover things live. So if you do have any questions, we have the Q&A app open on our BizzyWeb webinars, and so go ahead and post those questions by going into Google Plus and going ahead and connecting up with us via that tool. So if you go to google.com/plusbizyweb and bridge over, we'll answer your questions as you present them, and should make it very simple. And we have a attendee here today, so pardon the rustling around as we gear up, but we always like to make sure that folks are welcome to join us here live. So welcome to Jamie, and thanks for hanging out. For the rest of the folks that are watching us online, next up for you is to go ahead and go to google.com/plusbizyweb and logging in so that you can ask questions as they're presented. And Jamie, of course, if you have questions, you're welcome to offer those up in line. All right, so connect with us there, and let's go into who BizzyWeb is and what we do. BizzyWeb is an online marketing company specializing in WordPress web design. What that means to y'all is that when we publish our websites, we publish them so that they seamlessly integrate with social media and are fully search engine optimized so that you rank well on your website. When people are searching for you and your company, what you do, we bridge that out and make sure that everybody can find you with the information that you're trying to share. We also help you with a little bit of content and strategy so that things will work out well. We have the best darn web hosting out there, which you'll find out about in a little bit. And we cover this to make it as simple as possible for you. When we say we help our clients generate buzz without getting stung, that means that we build buzz for you to help you get the word out about your products and services. And the not getting stung part, you own your website, you own your content, and we empower you to reach out and save time and money using your online marketing tools. What that can look like is social media accounts, including the following. We've got in order and brand new designs on Google+. Facebook just announced and just allowed us to launch our brand new Facebook design. So for everyone out there, we're going to be covering Facebook next week because that design is now available to everyone. And as of June 11th, you're not going to have an option. So you may as well get ahead of the time and make your website look amazing. We have a bunch of stuff here for you on LinkedIn, and there's some additional links and connections back there. And of course, the brand new look and feel for Twitter. And so all of those are available and up to you to update. Or of course, we have webinars on all of these. If you're interested in Facebook in particular, tune in next Wednesday for an overview on what that means and how to set up your site. Let's talk about website success tips. There's a bunch of stuff that you need to know when you're designing and developing your website. This is a very high-level conversation about how things work. But if you do have questions about anything in particular, would encourage you again to please ask those questions by submitting them on the Google Plus page. If you do not have access to Google Plus, no problem. You can also tweet us using the hashtag BizzyWebinar, and that's BizzyWebinar. BizzyWebinar. Or you're welcome to send us a note at the bottom of this slide, and every slide is sales@BizzyWeb.com. If you send us in a note and just reference BuzzBuilders, we'll get right back to you with your questions. So, first thing that you need to know is you need to have a fantastic web host. BizzyWeb's hosting is a prime example of what you should be looking for. There's a lot of cheap hosting out there, but it's not worth your investment with something that you're presenting to the world. To have a slow website, or a site that's not reliable, or a site that's not monitored constantly. In today's day and age of all kinds of hackers out there doing all kinds of crazy stuff, you need someone that's live and real to help monitor your site. If you go to GoDaddy, DreamHost, HostGator, Bluehost, any of those folks, you'll be told politely to go away if you do have any problems in your website, and to find somebody that knows what they're doing to help you weed out all the issues. Trust us, we know. We've worked and battled for our clients on behalf of web hosts, which is why we've set up our own hosting. Included with BizzyWeb hosting, to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, we include 3 hours of support every year, and that includes real live BizzyWeb staff people to monitor and maintain your website for you. That includes security hardening to make sure that your website isn't hacked into, and if something does pop up, whether you have a bad password or if a substandard plugin offers up some kind of a security hole and we wind up seeing issues, we'll take care of it right away for you, and we actually know what we're doing, as opposed to you having to call up your HostGator or GoDaddy or whatever account. And again, they're not going to help you at all with WordPress or any of the tools in there. And for the clients that have had issues of ours, or folks that we've rescued from those types of web hosts, all they do is shut off your website and tell you politely to go and find somebody that can fix it for you. So that's not any fun, and not something you want to expose yourself to. We also include training on how to use your site. We'll include a video training for all of our hosted websites and all of our designed websites right on the back end of your site. So you just need to log into your own site, and you'll have a full video on how to manage and maintain that site. And then we also do regular backups. Now, backups might not be that important for you. You might think, well, I've got all hardened passwords and everything. Well, we've had clients that have accidentally deleted users, and that user deletion has ended up deleting their entire website. That's kind of a panic thing for a site with 5,000 pages, but they gave us a call, in a panic of course. We were able to roll it back and have everything back up inside of a day. And actually after we learned about it, it was inside of an hour where we were able to have everything back. That's just not available anywhere else. So make sure that you take that into account. There are tools out there to do it, and if you're not hosting with us, I would encourage you to use tools that you can find on the WordPress repository. But of course, having someone to configure it and set it up correctly is the best option for you if you're just interested in having something done right, and that's what we're paid to do. We also keep all of your software up to date, including all of your plugins, your design, and any WordPress software updates in itself, as new security features are enhanced or added to WordPress, or plugins are patched for different security items that come up. We help folks by automatically updating those on a quarterly basis, and then for any urgent security issues immediately. We back up, test, and launch your site so that you never have any downtime, and our downtime is under 99% or better than 99% for all of our hosting. Web design is the other thing that you need to be concerned about, of course, and we're going to talk through this in a little bit more detail, but here's an example of everything that you need to consider. Inside of the honeycombs on our web design brochure, the things that you need to make sure that your website interacts with include social media, has the correct links on it, has great content, matches your branding, builds on that WordPress hosting, and includes a great design that's intended to get things done and to have visitors find your website, but then once they land on your website, to have them find what they need within the first 10 seconds of visiting your site. There are studies out that say that inside of the first 10 seconds you're going to lose 80% of your visitors if you don't have anything else on your site. And so make sure that those first 10 seconds draw a customer in, or a potential customer in, tell them your story, and encourage them to go deeper. The idea is to have your leads transition into growing your business. And we have a 4-step process that we run our clients through. Everybody that visits your website or every bit of online marketing that you do should be designed to do the following things: engage, inform, capture, and convert. So you're going to engage your clients by being you, by publishing content that's interesting and relevant to them, and that speaks from their perspective versus yours. Nobody cares if you're in business for 15 years or if you've got a brand new building or if you've got super smiley people. What they care about is, can you fix the issue that I'm having? Can you get me more or get me better of what I'm trying to accomplish? You have to prove that you know that and engage them there. The next best way to do that is to inform them on what you do that perhaps your competitors don't or that they need that they don't have. So engage and inform. Your website needs to drive people to capture, so you're going to give them relevant calls to action at every step. And when you do those calls to action, you just need to make sure that they're reaching out to you and that they have a relatively easy way to reach out. You have to make every single page of your website an opportunity for people to do more. So always include a click here, a find us, follow us, a download a report form. Give them the next step in your sales process and make it very easy for them to take that step. And then, of course, the goal of all of that is to convert them into either a customer or to convert them to the next step of the process or what have you. So if you engage, inform, capture, and convert your clients, you'll be building an online, or you'll be building a business using online tools, which is what the whole point of web design should be. So let's talk about some website basics. Websites need to be clear and clean. It's where everybody looks for you first. So even if you have a brilliant online marketing program and you're fantastic on Facebook, you're doing all kinds of cool stuff on Pinterest or House, or you're posting away on Twitter, everything that you do elsewhere is just going to accelerate the process of people visiting your website. So if you have a lackluster website, or if your website has issues with conversions, or it's slow, or it looks unprofessional, you're just accelerating the process of people being suspect or dropping you as an option in their choice process. So make sure that your website complements everything that you do. It's also the one place that you completely own. Facebook, again, changed their design, and that's as of today, and we're going to cover that next week. But you can't guarantee that your website is always, or that your online presence is always going to look great on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or Google Plus or Pinterest or any of those places, because all of those are owned by somebody else. You own your website, you own all of the connections, and if you're locked into somebody that's not letting you update your website, now is a great time to start thinking about ways to bring that into somewhere that you own. There's certainly ways to build a website outside of BizzyWeb's purview. We'd love to work with anyone to help you grow a gorgeous website and make sure that it meets your needs. But at a minimum, make sure that you own your website and that you spend a little bit of time making it great. I'll talk a little bit more about mobile responsiveness and other things in the next couple of slides, but the more you know, the easier it's going to be for you to reach out and bridge wherever people are connecting. So if they happen to be on their iPhones, if they happen to be on an Android device or on a tablet, you want to make sure that your website is designed for them wherever they may be, and you don't want to have to manage multiple versions of your website, so you might as well just make sure your website handles it from the get-go without you having to work on anything else. We talked about making sure that you have content on your website. That content is for search engine optimization or to help you rank better. And having a single-page website can be helpful for you if you're willing to augment that with advertising. But in general, you need multiple pages on your website that all relate to the right keywords that people would search for to find you. And if you do that, and if you have regular posts that bridge across and ideally link into social media for maximum search engine benefit, you're going to start seeing new traffic and new people finding you because they're searching for the keywords that they're looking for, or that you're looking for them to find you on. And when you do that, make sure you drive them to a contact form designed for them. If you're looking for a different type of client, or if you have 3 different types of clients, create a form designed for each of them, or at a minimum, make sure that your standard forms will automatically revisit or repurpose themselves to tailor the content. So perhaps you could offer a series of questions, and then depending on the type of client that they select themselves to be, you could ask different questions in your form than you would if they were, a completely different type of client. It doesn't have to be hard for them at all, but make sure that they can opt in for the right type of content depending on who they are. WordPress, of course, is the tool that BizzyWeb believes in using. We think it's one of the best publishing platforms out there, and it continues to improve and to make life easier for us. We bet on WordPress way back in 2008, and we've never looked back. HTML sites are way too complicated to maintain and manage. Drupal and Joomla are great tools in and of themselves as content management systems, but they're more development oriented, which makes them harder for regular old users to log in and post their content. And WordPress is by far the largest publishing platform on the web, which means that it has the most developers looking at making things to help you grow your business. So anything that you would need to do on your website, I can make WordPress do. Partly because we're experts at what we do, but partly because WordPress is such a robust tool, especially now, after all of these years of continual improvement by thousands of developers. The nice part about WordPress is that it's technically free. You go to wordpress.org, you download the software, and you could have a website up for the cost of hosting. Of course, it's up to you to actually build it and make it beautiful and to make it do what you want it to, and that's why you would hire a pro. And that's why we are here. It's easy to edit your website. If you're in WordPress, you just enter in a title like you would in this section up here. Enter in content. You want to make something bold, make it italics, create a link. You just hit the buttons just like you would in Microsoft Word or in your favorite email editor of choice. When you're making those links, when you're creating posts, you just click the checkbox, and then when you're done, you click Publish or Update, and everything's up and running perfectly. The new versions, actually this is an old screenshot, the new versions of the WordPress editor are fully mobile responsive, so you don't need to do anything special to edit your website, and you can edit it from anywhere in the world using your phone or your tablet. It's simple, easy, and works really, really well. Search engine optimization. This is about all I'm going to say about SEO because there's an entire presentation on this. And actually, the last time we covered SEO was earlier this year, so just browse back in the BuzzBuilders webinar archive. But in general, you need metadata, keywords, and descriptions. The keywords are for your benefit more than anything else, and those are the words and phrases that you're going to keep referring back to. And inside of your meta title and meta description, you're going to fill in the content that you need folks to enter in, or that you imagine your best client or prospect would type into Google to find you. So if you're a realtor, you would say, Minneapolis homes or 3-level split or whatever in the location of your choice. If you're a salon owner, you would cover what you're doing or what you do better than anyone else and what distinguishes you from the competition. But you need to also pay attention to the basics. If you're a hair salon, you need to type hair salon and make sure that people understand that you're a hair salon because that's what they're probably going to be typing. They also do cuts, colors, and perms, or styling or rejuvenation or whatever. Make sure that you have the best key phrases that your potential clients would be entering, and you make those available. Meta title is a way for you to tailor your content so that it shows up the way you want it to on Google as far as the page title. And same thing with meta description. You can think of that as your 160 or less character ad for the content on your website that tells people why they should click on that particular piece of content. So you're giving them an ad on why to click to move on, and inside of that, when you type that in, it also tells Google what you want to rank for. Good tools to get started on proper search engine optimization include Google Webmaster Tools, which helps you identify how you're looking, how things are going on your site, as well as the Google Keyword Tool. Enter in your website on the Keyword Tool and your industry and the keywords that you're trying to find, and Google will look for those keywords, but also send you a number of recommended keywords based on the content and industry that you're in. So Google will actually look at your website and recommend other content that you might want to consider on your site using the Google Keyword Tool. Now, the Google Keyword Tool URL changes once in a while, and you don't necessarily want to have to remember that entire long URL. Just Google Keyword Tool to find what I'm talking about here. It's quick and easy and works really, really well. Mobile responsive sites are sites that automatically reconfigure themselves based on the device they're being viewed from. So on the left is the mobile or is the regular version of the BizzyWeb website, and on the right is the mobile version. What happens with a mobile responsive site is it automatically reconfigures itself, resizes its images, and changes the layout of the page for optimal viewing on the device it's being viewed on. So you can see, for example, at the bottom or at the middle of the BizzyWeb website page here, there's 3 columns across: web design, social media, and content. You'll note on the right-hand side of that page that web design and social media, and then you can't see it right now, but content are stacked on top of each other versus going horizontally across the page. All of that is fully responsive and makes it so that you don't have to pinch, zoom, click, and scroll all over the place in order to get the content that you're looking for as you're browsing. About 80% of people that start searching for the web on the web in general are now originating those searches on their mobile devices. So make sure that you're taking that into account, because you're missing 80% of the traffic, or at worst you're just frustrating those people that are trying to search from search your site or search your content from a mobile device. And in general, you're going to want to design for touch, so don't do a lot of hovering on your website. There's possible to create hover buttons and all that kind of crazy stuff. Make sure that your phone number is clickable. That's a simple thing where you add a HTML link to the telephone number on your website, and that makes it clickable. It gives it a little underline, and then ideally keep that phone number up at the top of your site, because if you want people to call in and their phone is built right into the browser that they're using, all they have to do is touch it and their phone application will open up and you can talk to them right there. Just don't add unnecessary barriers to getting people to do what you want them to do. Important information needs to stay up top because people don't browse around very much. And 2 weeks ago we actually talked about the importance of mobile and gave you some really great tips on where to go. So check out the Buzz Builders from a couple weeks ago if you're interested in finding out more about mobile responsive. But in general, no flash, and make sure that you're taking advantage of and connecting with the estimated 28% of people that don't use web browsers at all anymore. They just go out on the internet via their phones. And again, 80% of searches are originating via phones as well. So take advantage of it and make sure that you go. And finally, on web design, make sure that you're including a call to action on every single page of your site. Tell people what to do next and make it obvious without being obnoxious, of course, so that people understand. What you're dealing with with folks that are on the web is they have a lot of choices, and they've somehow found your website, probably because you're being brilliant with your content. But once they get there, they don't want to have to hunt around or look for a contact us page or try and browse around on your site to figure out what they need to do. Make it glaringly obvious what you want them to do, and they're going to do more of that thing. So the more that you can connect with them, tell you to like them, follow us, download a special report, and anything to get them into that marketing funnel and allow you to continue to market to them is going to be what you need to do in order to grow your business. So including that call to action, including that next step is important on every single page or post, and some folks will actually advocate to do that 3 or 4 times on a page or post. If you have a longer post, tell them to click here or connect now or take the next step or do what you need to. And so if you're interested in seeing what that level of call to action looks like, visit Amazon.com, check out Mashable or TechCrunch or any of the other tech blogs. They're built to convert and to take people on to the next step. You probably don't want to have popovers unless something's urgent. For example, we have a client that needs a download waiver for their for their location to bridge that out and to get people to the next step. And so they have a pop over where you actually have to click OK in order to see something or in order to see anything else on their website, and that's to download the waiver form. But in general, be careful with those, because unless you need to force people through some sort of a gate to get there, all you're going to be doing is frustrating folks when they're clicking. And for a lot of people, when they see a pop-up, they'll just go away unless it's directly relevant to what they need to do. One quick note about domain names, as long as we're talking about the web, make sure that you do a little bit of research for your domain name and stick to .coms when possible. .com is the standard bearer of the net. The unfortunate part of that is that there's a lot of competition out there and your domain name may be taken. But if you get a little bit creative and maybe lengthen out your URL a little bit, you'll probably still be able to find what you're looking for in .com. You know, there are other domains available like .biz or .info or .org for nonprofit organizations, but make sure that you keep your domain as short as possible, rememberable as possible, and consider using a tool like Domainer, which is domain R, and it's listed on the page here, to figure out new web URLs. Or I really like domain tools as well. And easiest thing is just to type in domain tools, all one word, into your web browser. They have a purchase option on that site, and they'll actually, you type in keywords and it'll help you find domains that match that. I wouldn't register your domain on GoDaddy if possible. What they do is they have a sneaky little trick. When you search a domain name using GoDaddy, they'll actually, for your convenience, lock that domain, which means that you can only buy it through GoDaddy for the next week. And so unless you want to be locked in, I wouldn't search for or register your domains at GoDaddy. I just think it's kind of slimy. So we do offer domain registrations for $15 a year, which is pretty much on par with every place else and quite a bit cheaper than Network Solutions, which offers domains for $30 to $40 a year. But we make it easy, and we keep everything in one spot so that you don't have to get emails from all kinds of different folks. TLDs are top-level domains. That's the .com, net, orgs, all that stuff. And .coms are the most common. If you're a nonprofit, go ahead and do a .org. They don't enforce this, so go ahead and get a .org if it's easier. But remember that people are going to be expecting that your company is a nonprofit if you use a .org domain name. .net, info, US, biz, all that other stuff is fine. But again, remember that people aren't going to trust your company as much as if you had a regular .com. And if you tell people to go to our website, if your competitor has the .com and you need to go to .biz, even if they type that .biz the first time, if they go back to your website, they're probably just going to type it in or type your company name in and hit go, and it's going to go to the .com first. So make sure that you take the time, invest the cash, and a lot of times websites or domains are available for sale. Even if you have to spend a few $100s to get the exact right domain name, it's probably worth your time in order to get that, because that's a huge bearer of trust and an indicator that you take your company seriously. If you have all kinds of dashes or weird stuff in your domain or make it hard for people to type it in, you're just not going to have as many people visiting your site. So make sure that you have that available and that you just make it easy for people to find you. One last thing before we bridge out here, and I wanted to talk about writing for the web very briefly. In general, as you're writing for the web, make sure that you know your audience. So think about your company and who you are, but think about it from the perspective of your customer. You want to engage more of your absolute best clients, so write a profile of who your best clients are and think about them in any of the major groups that you have or that you serve, but bring it all the way down to naming that person. Outline who they are, what they do, what their interests are, what their hobbies might be, and everything that they might include or input when they're searching for you. When they type that in, you want to make sure that you have that content on your site to get them to the next step in the design process. So when you're thinking about your content and your customers, think about your strategy. What, when, how, and how often are you going to reach out to them, and how are you going to speak to them? And again, nobody cares if you've been in business for 15 or 50 years. What they care about is, can you fix the problems that I have? Can you fill that need that I've got for the service that I'm looking for your company to do? Write that from their perspective, and write it ideally in saying, here's the problem, we can help. Or share what the end result might be. There's all kinds of psychology and stuff around what you can do, or how to bridge people and converse with them to get them to do what you want them to do. In general, though, just show them that you know what you're doing, that you can solve their problems, and that you know how, and you're going to be fine. For readability and scannability, don't put massive, bulky bits of text on a page. It's easy to kind of spit all over the page and have all kinds of content, and most of our client sites, before we get a chance to redesign them, just have tons of text, because it's tempting to just start typing and keep typing until you've said everything you possibly want to say. The thing you have to remember with web design is that your content needs to be short and scannable, and no matter if you've written the next War and Peace on your website, people are going to visit, and you have 10 seconds to engage them. They're going to browse your website, they're going to check stuff out, and then they're going to get on with their busy days, and they're going to ask you where else to go. I do have a question in from Andy Wojtowski, and Andy, thank you for the question. Do domain names rank higher than names that have been around for 5 or 10 years, or do new domain names rank higher? And the answer is, it really depends on how well your website is set up. So if you have a great name that directly relates to what you're doing, so for example, Minneapolis Electricians, if that one's brand new, you're probably going to have a little bit of luck just with people typing in Minneapolis Electricians, but you have to have your domain name registered, and you have to have some history with Google, and even on a brand new website, you need about 6 months for Google to catch up with all of the work that you've done to help optimize your site. Google is going to scan it, they're going to scan it again, and then they're going to scan it again, and if all of that content is trending in the right direction, and if everything keeps looking better and more interesting and more relevant to the people that you're trying to reach, that's when you're going to start ranking higher. One thing that I forgot about domain names is it's tempting to only register your domain name for a year, because you can always just renew it again next year. A great idea to optimize your web results, or to help rank you better and to continue to build trust with Google and with your clients, is to register that domain name for as long as you figure you're going to be in business. I would say at a minimum, your domain should be registered for 3 to 5 years out in advance. Google does look at that, and it's a small indicator, but a lot of folks, when they're building spam domains, or if they're just launching out a website that's just short and to the point and probably intended to grab a hold of people and spam them, or to turn over content in a nefarious way, they're only going to pay the $15 to register their domain for that year, because it's the least common denominator. Don't go for the least common denominator. Go ahead and register for longer out, because you're going to be here for a long time, and you can always transfer your sites to some other place or move it around. But it's a good investment to keep everything going. So Andy, thanks for that question. And again, if you have any other questions, would love to hear from you on those. And we'll keep covering a couple more bits here, just to get through the main bulk of what you need to know for your web. In readability and scannability, you don't have to be salesy or overtly salesy in your site. Give people the next step, but it doesn't always have to be buy now or special offer or deal, deal, deal. Don't be the equivalent of the guy on the sales corner that asks, or on a street corner that asks if you want to buy a watch. Share with them what you do, how you do it, and how to take the next step, and that's all you need to focus on. Especially in social media, it's important not to be too salesy. 1 in every 10 posts should be, or can be, outwardly sales motivated, and you should probably stick to the same ratio on your site as far as posts, especially if you're cross-posting your site to social media. After all of this, measure, rinse, and repeat. Think about what you're doing, measure how you're doing, and then track if those things are working. You have to keep in mind that your website is an entire ecosystem, or is part of an entire ecosystem, including all of your online marketing. So remind people where to find you, include your URL on your business cards, but also include your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube accounts on your website and make it easy for people to connect with you wherever they prefer to spend their time. If you have a good overview, or if you've interviewed your best clients and find out where they spend their time or where they found you, that's a good indicator of where you should be as well. So if you have a lot of clients that are huge on Facebook and that's all they do, they check out their grandkids' pictures or whatever on Facebook, that's a great place for you to be. If you have a lot of corporate types that are only on LinkedIn and they're checking back and forth and they're making deals and referrals, well then LinkedIn is one of the places that you should definitely be. If you have a mobile and upwardly urban environment or folks that share a lot, then Twitter is probably a great place for you to be. In general, I'd say you should be on all of the big four: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. But figure out where you want to spend most of your time. The good news is that you can set up your website to broadcast across all of those, but make sure that you're taking into account the ecosystem in which you live. Your business cards need to promote your website. Your social, your strategy, and your stationery need to promote all of your stuff. Just make sure that people can find you where they spend their time. So, in summary, and if you have any other questions, would encourage you to send them our way. But in summary, here's what you need to know. First, BizzyWeb can help you with all of this. It can seem like a lot, and we're here to guide you and counsel you through this crazy decision-making process to create a beautiful and worthwhile website. It's easy to throw money away on a website, and a lot of people view web design in particular as an expense. But if done well, social media, web design, all online marketing can be an investment in getting you new customers. If on average it takes you $500 worth of spend in order to get a new customer, if you can build a website that's going to get you in 10 new customers, well then all you need is a $5,000 website. If you need to bridge that across, 5 new sites or 5 new customers will pay for your website and then everything else is profit. You need to view this as something that you're willing to do and willing to invest in order to grow your business. You can't stay the same and expect new things. You need to bridge out and connect with more people in a better way and help them with tools that are designed to get them to convert into what you want them to do. And you'd be amazed at the results that you can get when all of your tools are working for you instead of against you, or at best just kind of off on their own thing. Pay attention to search engine optimization. Look at search engine marketing and email marketing as other options to reach out and connect. And remember that this is all in its own ecosystem. BizzyWeb does all this stuff. We have the best dang web hosting out there. Even if you've got a WordPress designed website and haven't or don't need a web redesign, you'll see dramatic improvements just in switching over to us on hosting. Join us every Wednesday. Our BizzyWebinars are free, and every Wednesday from noon to 1. See, I need to update some of my graphics now since we've rebranded these. But we'd love it if you join us in person at our BizzyWebinars as well. For anyone in the metro area, we're just 10 minutes north of downtown Minneapolis in Champlin. We're right next to Broadway Pizza, so you can grab a little bit of pizza on your way in, or you can grab a beer on your way out and connect up with us. And we have a fantastic facility that we love entertaining folks at. So come on by. But of course, we're featured every Wednesday on Google+, and we bridge that right onto our website. So all you need to go to is BizzyWeb.com to view live. And then after that, we embed that via YouTube on our website. So all of our archives, all 100+ of our BuzzBuilders webinars, are available on the web for you to browse. So go ahead and check those out. We've got topics including everything I've talked about today, plus 90% more. And of course, usually we have some time set aside for tech support and Q&A. I'm going to end up the broadcast in just a moment, and then we're going to open it up for folks that would like to join us. If you would like to join us, just go to BizzyWeb or google.com/plusBizzyWeb and join this hangout to ask us questions. Or, of course, go in and click the sales link or sales@BizzyWeb.com to ask us questions, or tweet to the hashtag BizzyWebinar to join us and to enter the conversation. We'd love to help you out. Finally, if you want to have us take a look at what you do and how things are going for you and give you some real-world recommendations to improve your results, fill out a Buzz Builder or a Buzz report at BizzyWeb.com/buzz. So if you go to Buzz, you'll be able to fill out an online form, and we'll look at your website, connect up with you, and talk to you with a 6 or 7 page report on how you could improve your online marketing, and take that to whoever you would like. Of course, we'd hope that you'd work with us, but there's no strings attached with our Buzz reports. We'd love to connect with you there. Next week, we're going to be talking about Facebook's new web design or new design, and kind of covering some best used strategies on how to upgrade and take advantage of all of the new design options that are in your Facebook page. And so if you join us next Wednesday on that, again, we'd love to have you in person. Bring your laptop and we'll help you get all set up, or join us live on the web and we'll connect up with you then. Again, I am Dave Meyer at BizzyWeb, and reminding you, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.